Hey, what is up? It's me, your girl E, and this is the E Davis Network. And look at my face. I am excited because my girl, my sister from another mister, we was just on this StreamYard chat for about 45 minutes, talking, conversing, having revelations. I said, wait a minute. She's spilling jewels before we are live. So this is my face. And I had to go to her with accountability because I was a bad girl with my health this past month. I blamed it on birthday shenanigans, and she was like, all right, you can have this one, but we're not going to do it again. And I said, yes, ma'am. I told her what I had to do to get back on track. And she was like, get it together. And she told me what her plans were for the next few months. And I said, put me on. She was like, I'm not to be played with. I said, Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Nonetheless, this is Ming, your fitness coach, and I'm so excited to have her here today with the E Davis Network. She is your fitness guru. I love it because from the time I met her, she had a cute little mohawk. She was adorable. She was the cutest. You was like, when I first met you, you was like this warrior goddess when I first saw you. I was like, ooh, what's your name? I don't know if you remember. You was like, girl, tone it down. I was like, I love it. I love you. You was like, like you turned the volume down. And he was like, my name is Dominga. You gonna chill. But nonetheless, you've been actually my shebro the past month. Just because remember I reached out to you, was like, pray for me because my goal is to stay healthy. My goal is to stay focused. But there's too many distractions and it's too easy to give into temptation as far as my health. I will have a salad and then with some French fries. I will have a veggie burger and then some cookies. I will have some fried vegan nuggets and justify that you're vegan with, a cluster of fries. He was like, all right, girl, I'm going to pray for you, but you got to get it together.
Yeah.
And I shared with you this past week. So I'm even going to go back into the archive. So my birthday month was March, and it was at the end of March. So I always blame my shenanigans because it's my birthday. I was working out regularly, but not eating properly. As far as I'm a vegan, so I don't eat chicken, red meat, pork, or beef. But then I would have my cheat meals or my cheat days and justify like, well, I'm working out. And then the week of my birthday, it was like, what's my birthday? I'm going to go hard. I'm going to eat whatever I want to eat because I'm celebrating. But my body was like, my body chronologically was like, you're not 24.
Right.
Okay. So you can't do what you did when you was 24. And my body emotionally, mentally was like, come on now. If you want this result, you can't justify you eating the way you're eating because it's your birthday. So this past week I was a bad girl. I ate some food I shouldn't have been eating, and it left me feeling physically stuck, emotionally depleted, and mentally like what is the point? And so what I had to do was take a freaking laxative to relieve all the toxins from my body. And I did that. And I said, okay, and if I'm to go out to eat with my husband, have a date night, I need to proceed with caution, eat so much and take some home. I don't have to binge it, engorge it all in one sitting. And so I kept hearing in my ear all this week what you said on our show last month. Why would you want to even go through that? Why would you want to do all that? I'm not doing that. And I said, I need that discipline. I need to say it to myself when the cravings, because the cravings going to hit. There's nothing wrong with like a bag of chips. There's nothing wrong with a donut. There's really nothing wrong, but it's all in within moderation, all within limits.
Right.
But you were saying, why would you want to even put yourself in that to feel that?
Yeah.
And so today we was running some errands, and I said, I want some lunch. And I said, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to get me a salad. I'm going to have my vegan protein, which is hearts of palm. I cooked it up a little bit, and it was actually filling. I'm actually physically satisfied. It was delicious because
It
you know
looked
me, I was chomping good. I was a good girl. I worked out today, and I said, you know what? I'm going to be a good girl. So I just want to thank you so much.
yes.
Being that positive, what Leah say, the motivation force within my life, because it was just like, because I've been all winter trying to work on this summer body.
Yeah.
And my summer body right now was like, girl, please, you ain't ready for next summer, let alone this summer.
I'm cracking up.
So tell me, how do we stay focused during now the spring? You know, this is Pittsburgh, so it's been storming all week. But how do we get ready for the spring and the summer? Because now we're going to be wearing a little bit less clothing and be confident and still want the results that we say we wanted during the winter season.
So I'm not going to give you the politically correct version of my answer. I'm going to let you know that if you want the results, you got to do the work. And that's for everybody. And I'm only saying that because I try my hardest to practice what I preach. So I'm not telling you anything that I don't do myself. It's, discipline will outlast motivation any day, because coming out of the winter, thank God the winter wasn't that bad this time, but it's still, the fact still remains that when you're dealing with less vitamin D, you know what I'm saying, there's less sun out, people are coming out of seasonal depression. Nobody really wants to move when in the winter time. Everybody kind of want to still work from home and kind of like not have to leave the house if they don't want to. Like Instacart is the orders for Instacart kind of go up, and then the orders for eating out go up too, because it's just easier and more convenient. But the long story of it, or the short end of that whole story, is that nobody can do it for you. And so I would say that the only way that you can keep yourself, because the temptation is going to come from the sweets, is going to come like, and now that the season starts to change, you get in a happier mood, you get a little bit lighter, you know what I'm saying? And now it's kind of like you're wishing that you would have stuck to the regimen during the winter time, because actually winter body or summer bodies are made in the winter time. You and I both know that. But the fact still remains that you're less active in the winter time than you are. So I would just have to say you have to focus on why you want it. And it can't be a superficial reason why you want to get in shape. It can't just be I want abs, or I want to look sexy, or I want to do this. It has to be, you have to have a sincere why. Like my sincere why is because I'm not trying to develop heart disease before I'm 50. I don't want, like, I've seen my family literally deplete over the last 5 years, just for the simple fact that they did not want to change how they eat. Activity is the Achilles heel, if you will, of disease. It literally cures things. And it eliminates or reverses ailments that inactivity introduces to your body and to your temple. I'm huge on temple maintenance. I don't just go and work out. Like 90% of your health journey has to be in the kitchen. That's literally where it's what you fuel your body with. And that's mentally also, like, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you writing? Those are all things that are important to the upbuilding of your temple. So I would just tell people to figure out their why, and don't let nobody take you off of it. Don't let nobody take you off of it. If it's people that don't have the same goal as you, those are the ones that you need to start putting towards the back a little bit. Check on them every once in a while, but kind of like, you're not going where I'm going, so we can't like right now, we can't rock. It's okay to say we can't rock right now. This ain't our season, and be good with that.
I love that approach. You had mentioned a book, The Garden Within by Dr. Anita
Oh,
Phillips.
I love that book.
And I'm going to put it in my Amazon cart because, like you said, it's not just the eating and the working out. It's what you're
Yeah.
watching on TV. It's your conversation with
Yes.
whomever. The past week, I've been binge watching um, Jackie Hill Perry. I don't know if you know who she
Oh,
is.
I love. She is serious. That's
I
my.
love her. I love her.
I love them both. Oh my goodness, she be
Her and
keeping.
her husband. And you know what? But it's so sweet when I watched them both together. The Perrys. I talked with the
Yeah.
Perrys.
Yep.
He initially starts complimenting her, and she just like bypass. He says your edges look nice, your eyebrows is nice,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's like, you ain't got nothing better to say. But I know it's just them, their banter.
Their
And I
mentor
was,
is cute. Yeah.
there is adorable. What I like, first of all, I love her testimony, and then two,
Yeah.
she was saying, it was she's coming out of in the book of the Bible, James 3, about your tongue
Mm-hmm.
and what you say to not only to people, but what you're saying in general. And
Yep.
it is more than just speaking positive. It's the intent to motivate, to
Yes.
encourage, and to uplift someone. And that really convicted me as a person because as a Christian, I'll tell you all day I'm a Christian, I'm an evangelist, this is what da 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 da. But I could also in the same breath say, I don't like that person, I hate that person. And I was like, wow, wow. And if I don't say anything, it doesn't mean that I'm not thinking negative of someone. It's just I choose not to speak it to avoid any type of conflict. And what I had to say was nasty. So
Yeah.
I was like, I need to change the intent of my heart
Yeah.
and really understand that, yeah, the best thing to do, of course, is not say anything, but to really, 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 really tap into understanding why this person where they are, and if I guess the world say energy is not matched. If I have to be around them, I can still speak a positive and speak a life to a situation.
Right. Because
And
you're supposed to display the love of Christ. That's it.
well,
That
that's
that's
always, but I was convicted because I was choosing just don't say anything.
yeah. We all are taught that. Yep.
So now it's like, okay, just speak positive. And the more you speak positive, the more you encourage, it will now manifest within and really spill out into who you are. And that really, really hit me hard because that again goes along with the temple. Because if you're holding in poison,
Yeah.
you're not extracting it out.
Listen, that is one of the things that Dr. Anita talks about a lot because she is a licensed therapist. Me dealing in health and wellness all the time, I have come across tons of people who have either been misdiagnosed, maldiagnosed, not diagnosed at all with mental issues, mental health issues. I mean, just the passing along of different traumas from childhood and parents and all that kind of stuff. Knowing what the Bible says as it relates to certain things, Dr. Anita Phillips was one of the first people that actually connected the word with health and wellness for me. Like it's one of those things where you know the word and you say the word, but you don't really understand what it means until it actually hits home. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I have a problem with is when I hear people say, the Lord don't care how you feel. He don't care nothing about your feelings. And like, why you trying to sound good because it sounds nice and hood and you over the pulpit is really not what the word say. Like, I know that the Lord is concerned about what concerns me. That is what's in his word. And if I'm feeling this way, I know that Jesus felt this way when he was here because he was in human form and walked the earth and went through everything I'm going through. And you can't tell me that the Lord was not concerned. So this book, her book called The Garden Within, like really pinpoints a lot of emotional turmoil and how to allow the word to get in and start to heal those roots and uproot those things that were like put in. Like most of us, if not all of us, didn't have any control over traumas that were passed on, bad habits that were passed on, even the speaking and how you talk and how you communicate. These are things, it's like, this is what my mom did my whole life. Like, she didn't talk about this kind of stuff. She didn't talk about love. She didn't say she loved me. She didn't hug me. She didn't, like, these are things that's passed down. And then you find yourself doing similar things with your own children. And before you know it, you have a generational curse that's just passed down from one person to the
Wow.
next. You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn how to uproot. It's like, if I'm talking to somebody and our energy don't match, I used to just write people off. Like, my sever game was crazy. But the Lord was like, that is not edifying to me. And what if I need you to go and minister to her? It's not, that is what is not about God. God is not about your energy. He is like, I am about love. That's all. You got one job. Love everybody as I love the church. Like, that's how you're supposed to.
One job.
You got one job. And so everything else kind of it doesn't matter. It's like, so now if I have a issue with you, I'm going to have a conversation with you, but it's going to be from a place of trying to gain understanding and clarity so that we're on the same page going forward. And I mean, the word even spells out how you're supposed to deal with people. Like, I don't even know why I feel like this with this person. So now I'm taking that thought back to God. Like, what is it? Am I tripping? Is it me? Because there's been times when it was me. And it's like, the person didn't have nothing. They don't know what they're doing. You have no idea the types of things that people are dealing with on a regular basis. Meanwhile, we talking about people's energies are off. No, she just buried all of her family. Like, what are you talking about? She's grieving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got it. My friend, her name was Dell, and she always says, sit in the mercy seat. You don't know what they're
That's right.
dealing with, emotionally, mentally. And there's a young lady that I've met, and she's just a negative person.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. But I've learned that I can't match her energy. Like, I don't even like that term, match her energy.
We're not matching no
Because one, we have to work together, and two, we're never going to get anything. Like, if the house is divided, then you know what I mean? So whenever I'll say, whenever I feel she just being real dismissive towards me, or just too curt, so to speak, I won't match it.
Right.
Okay, thank you for thank you. Okay, I got you. I appreciate that. Because in my line of work, besides writing and everything else, in my line of work, my colleagues and I can't show a disturbance.
Right.
Because it's going to definitely shift it. It's going to definitely shift the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I've also learned, even with marriages, don't disagree with your spouse in public, because it's going to show an undivided front.
That was a hard one for me.
It's a hard one for me too.
Yep, it was I had to learn that, but it took conversation between my husband and I, and for me to like really humble myself to kind of hear, because I say I'm listening, but I wasn't hearing. Like, and there's a difference between the two. And it's like, if the Lord is like, if you are loving him the way that you love me, then you will take the time to listen. You will find out how to hear him.
I've learned that sometimes, because my husband and I are both alphas, and I'm right, he's right. I got to journal it out and really see why I feel I'm right, and really, like you said, listen to why he's right.
Yeah.
And then
sometimes it's a mutual agreement to just disagree. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't agree with this. I understand how you're feeling. Like, your feelings are validated. I understand, but I just disagree. And it's okay to walk away from the table saying that we see things differently. We're two different people. We see things differently, but that's still okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hold no grudge against it. I'm not going to have no attitude every time it come up. It's going to be like one of them things where we talked about this already. So I can't, you know what I mean? I'm not going to continue to have or display, ought to where it's noticeably awkward or noticeably, to where it's an issue. You know what I'm saying? But, just getting human beings to understand what they're feeling is kind of where I'm at. Like, why do you really need that cake? Why do you need the pie? Why?
Well, I learned it's connected to the emotion. So my thing is chips pretzels. Um, my comfort food is pretzels. Give me
So
some
you're the
pretzels.
salty one. You got like a salty fix. That's what yours is.
And then I've learned that it deals with anxiety.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what am I, why am I tripping? My mother was nervous. My dad was nervous. And I know my dad was more of the junk food guy. He was
Mm-hmm.
always fidgety, fussy, you know, whenever his spirit was stirred up, he was antsy. And one of the little snacks after dinner was chips and pretzels.
Okay.
Okay, so back in the day when my daughter was little, I'll probably just get a big bag of Snyder's, a big box of Cheez-Its, the
Yeah.
the pretzels, the little nuggets, whatever. And that'll be like a snack after lunch, after dinner, whatever, just whatever. But it was soothing to me. And I was disciplined enough to have like a little bowl. Like I ain't gonna just binge on this box or this bag, but I was disciplined enough to have that. But the things that was I was wrestling with on a personal level, um, it made sense why it was soothing.
Yeah.
And then and I didn't I mean, and those my friends and family knew the issues I was dealing with, and they gave me the encouragement, it's gonna be okay, life is, it's gonna be all right, just stay focused, da da da. But in the late night hour, or I'm home by myself, or when nobody was picking up the phone to give me that encouraging word, I've it was something comforting about that bowl of chips and pretzels and whatnot. My mother, on the other hand, she was a cake and pie person.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned the cakes and pies was more the affection. I need a
Right.
hug. I need to be words
Yeah.
of affirmation, things like that. And another go-to meal, go-to snack, I'll say, was chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Chips Ahoy or the kind you get at your local gas station, it was something about that chocolate. If you even noticed, on Valentine's Day and Christmas and the holidays, chocolate is one of the main treats and gifts, box of chocolates, because it's showing that warmth, that love, that hug, as
Yeah.
opposed to actually physical hugging somebody, say, hey, I appreciate you, or I love you, or whatever. And so I when I find myself when I'm overindulging in, say, a Kit Kat, I'm like, okay, I need affection. Or if I have a small bag of chips, I'm like, I need another bag. I gotta tap in and say, okay, I done ate about 3 bags of chips. What's going on? What's
Well,
bothering me?
can I challenge you with this though? Because this is something that
Yes.
is,
Challenge me. Yes.
I'm just gonna challenge you with this because um so the whole phrase, just like your mom, just like your dad type thing. This is actually something that I had just recently that I was just recently praying about because you know my family's traits are like crazy strong, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, you look just like your mom." Like when I first got here, there was somebody who thought I was my mom, and it's just kind of like, "Oh, yeah." Like he looked at me, he was like, "Do you related to any of the Fontes?" And I'm like, "I am a Fonz." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you look just like this lady." And I was like,
Okay.
"That's my mom." Like it was just one of those things. Like I've been gone for so long. I'm literally working out. I was at the gym. It was at 5:30 in the morning. I was at Planet Fitness, and this old man came up and was like, "Are you?" And I'm like, "No, that's my mom." But just one of those things where people are like, "Oh, you sound just like your mom," or "You do just like your mom."
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
But I just want to challenge when you get things like that because the Lord says, or the word says, that we are new creatures in Christ. And the reason why I'm here is not to be like my mom. The reason that I'm here is not to have those same anxiety issues as my father, or those same, you know what I'm saying? Those same wanting uh traits as my grandma. The Lord put me here for a specific purpose, and it was not to pacify any of those things. The Lord says that He is our comforter. He is the one that we're supposed to go to when we are feeling like we're feeling. It says to bring your worries to Him. Don't
Right.
don't put it into a box of pretzels. And I'm only saying that because that's one of the examples that you gave. But we all have our,
Right.
and then we all have reasons why we make it make sense for ourselves when ultimately we dismiss God the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things where we have to learn how, again, to seek God early. Early don't mean 2 a.m. Early means before trauma, before crisis, before like that, before those things happen.
Hmm.
Secret. You know what I'm saying? So Like
Well,
you can
that's what
tell.
I'm saying. Like I had to tap into like, okay, why am I eating another bag of chips?
Yeah, yep,
What am I worried about? What's bothering me?
yep,
When I tapped into what's bothering me, I resulted on the scripture and say, okay, Lord, this is this. I can pray and say, okay, God, this is what's bothering me. Um, the situation at home, or the situation at work, or the situation with my business, or my family, whatever. And I'm eating respectfully my emotions.
yeah.
So I need to take a step back and
I
like, all
can
right.
remember that because most people don't even have that discipline. They still override it.
Well,
They
that's why I learned why I learned what the binges were. And then I remember my family history
yes,
to
the pack.
why they gave this to me as a snack after,
Yeah,
after dinner. When you're
yeah,
a kid, you're looking at it as you're being rewarded. You ate your broccoli, you cleaned your plate,
yeah,
you did your homework. So okay, I get me a bowl of pretzels and chips and watch, cartoons, whatever. But then you could watch your parents kind of fidget and fuss
yeah,
because they're now not they was unintentionally shifting that trauma on you,
yeah,
their issues. So I now have to say, okay, if I do treat myself to a bag of chips, it's going to be maybe one bag a week or one bag a month, and take a pause.
yeah,
And again, it's easier said than done because some people just do it without thinking.
yeah.
But what I do for me is I try not to even bring it into the house.
That's right. Don't tempt yourself and don't make it easy.
So when I
Yeah,
feel that, I always call it the itch, you know what I mean?
yeah,
When I
yeah, yeah,
feel that itch, I'm like, oh, I need some chips. I need something sweet. Or I'm like, okay, nah, what's going on?
yeah,
What's going on? And
yeah.
as a journaler, which I look at as a part of my wellness, a journaler, I have a prayer journal. I have the regular Dear Diary. My
Yep.
husband worked my nerves today. You know what I mean? I have the dream journal because my dreams are prophetic. I write everything down. I chrono it out, and then I just pray on it because it's like, okay, Lord, I need you to like really intervene and intercede on this situation because I'm feeling some kind of way. Even when it comes to fitness, even you know what I mean? Because it's like I pride myself on working out. I pride myself on seeing some type of muscle mass.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And then I could be discouraged because I'm not where I want to be. And it's like, well, then I beat myself up because, like I just said before, my birthday was approximately not going on 2 weeks ago. And I beat myself up saying, you could have been further along if you didn't have this birthday binge. It's like, okay, well, I can't live in that
Right.
past, even though it was 2 weeks ago. I can now move forward and, and do better. So, Lord willing, if I see the next birthday, I'll be in a better place mentally and physically.
Yeah.
You
And
know what I
just
mean?
keep in mind, like it's literally always gonna be something. Is your husband's birthday the same month yours is?
No, he's late August.
He's like, okay. I was just curious. But
No,
yeah,
and I don't I'm pretty good. Like even yesterday, we came home and it was like, okay, we need to go grocery shopping, but neither of us have the energy, so we will resort to like a veggie pizza, right?
okay.
But the dairy content makes me sick.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't if I'm really trying to do this, I can't fall back on the old ways. I said, let's
Yep.
if we go out to eat, let's maybe go out to eat, maybe get a salad or something. You know what I mean? Something a little bit more healthier than just falling back on a pizza. Because
Yeah.
that's like, that's her easy go to. And then I can't keep popping some type of detox pill.
Girl.
So,
Oh,
so it's like we're gonna do better.
yeah.
And I will say thumbs up for the past 3 days. I did well. Even yesterday, I had a nice little breakfast and I didn't binge. I didn't even have a lunch. I skipped lunch and then nice little dinner where I didn't feel sick and nasty and gross.
Yeah.
And I was able to push forward that. So I was
Good.
like the fat elbow in the Cosby Kids. I was like,
Glad.
so
That's
I
good.
worked out today. I feel got my sexy on, feel strong,
I'm
and
cracking up. You're hilarious.
ready for the summer. I'm ready. I'm ready. Tracy Ellis Ross is my body um person that I'm like, okay, not that her body's my body and my body's her body, but she's the she's the goal.
She's the goal. Do you
Yeah.
know if she has like a regimen at all?
I
Because
don't know.
a lot of her stuff is genetic. You know who her family is. So
Well, Diana Ross is built like this. You know what I
I know.
mean? No shade to the queen. Listen, she,
I
but
cannot.
I mean, I mean, come on. Diana Ross was a stick. She still is. Um, I'm not trying to get the exact body, so to speak, but I want to look like I'm a big fan of Blackish, and of course, Girlfriends.
Yeah.
Girlfriends was
Oh yeah,
years
yeah. That
ago.
was one of my favorites. Yeah.
That's I got my daughter bought me the DVDs before Netflix even thought about it. So I had the
Yeah,
DVDs
yeah,
box
yeah.
set.
That's
But
hilarious.
I mean, she definitely had a nice physique, but
Yeah.
now and she's like I think in her 50s now. She has a
She's
very
aging very well. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's like okay, if it because before my online war was J Lo. Um, but I said, let me find somebody who's a little bit more who looks like me a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Tracy Ellis, I just see it because she looks healthy. Not to say J Lo does it, because we all know J Lo.
Oh yeah, she gets it in.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Tracy Ellis actually looks healthy, so
Yeah.
she doesn't look like
I
a
mean, you
size
can
six.
tell that she takes care of herself. She's not just out there eating anything, drinking anything, taking anything. Like you can tell she takes care of herself for sure.
Yes, other than I've seen a couple videos on her on Instagram, she's actually working out and stuff like that. And so I want to be able to do that. So it's like, okay, that's the goal. And then I got to my goal weight last summer, my actual goal weight. I
Hmm.
got it, but then I'm getting a new type of assignment and got lazy and comfortable and a little bit too cocky. And
Yeah.
then I said, okay, let me fix it. Fixed it, got confident and too cocky. And now I'm trying to it's taking too long to fix again because of the mindset. And that's what I think we need to encourage each other. You got to really, really shift the
Your
mindset.
mindset. Absolutely.
And
Especially
then
that we're getting older. Like it's not just as simple as getting up at 5 a.m. to, you know what I'm saying? It's not just going to work out because it like that effort takes a little bit more now because we're closer to 50 than we were than we are to 40 and like vice versa. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those are all things that play a part. And I mean, age doesn't mean anything. Like I on a good day still feel like I'm 25. So but that's only because I intentionally remain active. I try to make sure that I'm still doing stuff. Like inactivity is just it's one of the things that works against us in every way. Every way.
I'm 48 and I jokingly say my black has yet to crack, but my knees sometimes
Your niece can't get the memo, huh?
I'm limping down the steps sometimes. I'm limping down, not up. So I'm like, oh man, it's time to get my life.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah. So the next book you shared was the 5-second rule. Tell us about that book.
oh, oh my goodness. Okay, so this is a book that this is one of the first books that I read when I first started this health and wellness journey. Like when I decided to get serious about health and wellness and I was going to make sure that it wasn't just me working out, but I was actually going to share information that I found and I wanted to kind of get myself into the practice of doing things before I'm trying to tell everybody what I'm doing. Like by the time I was sharing her information like 6 or 7 years ago, I was literally in the practice of getting up every morning. I'm praying before anything. I'm doing like affirmations based off of the word. And I'm making sure that I'm reading something other than the word, like something that is still edifying along with the word.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'll say scripture because everybody's word is not the same. And I'll just leave that there. But she was one of the first people. Like I'm huge on personal accountability. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that anybody else, as much as I love you and you love me as my sister, there's not a whole lot that you can do for me in order for me to meet my goals because it's
Right.
self.
Right.
It's like it has to be. They talk about it's self-discipline is a real thing, and it is not something that you can get from somebody else. Like you can encourage me, you can do everything, but at the end of the day, if I don't want it, I'm not gonna do it. And nobody can really hold you accountable to that. And that was one of the things that almost made me quit doing health and wellness, because I told the Lord I was tired of dealing with people. Like, I'm not about to fight you for your healing. That was the
Oh,
thing.
wow.
I'm not about to fight you for your healing. I was having people reach out to me about how to eat, how to work out. And then you would get people, I would get people that would just say, oh, I only want to get rid of my stomach. Meanwhile, you dealing with a whole inflammation issue that needs to be dealt with. Like, you really need medical attention. You really need to be working with a dietitian. Like, and that alone is going to assist in like the inflammation and bloating of your midsection. And people just wanted what it looked like on after you did everything. So you can do 1,000 crunches, but if you're like, a fork will outdo a workout any day. So if you are your mouth, yeah,
No, they
yeah,
don't get it. And that's because someone told me when I started really, really focusing on my weight, like I said, I've binge hard, but right before the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, because Greg and I got married 2016. I put on like 20 pounds. And everybody said that's that love weight. I'm like, all right. And I jokingly said, let's get divorced. I get my figure back. You know what I mean?
I,
Because I had bought a whole new wardrobe. I couldn't fit nothing. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. But
yeah,
again, it was also psychological because I was very unhappy, and not just it was the weight. It wasn't my marriage. I had a great husband who didn't care about the curves, the hips, nothing.
yeah,
It was the fact that I don't feel my best, and I had to get motivated. It took me, let me see, 2020, so 4 years actually to be completely motivated to lose weight. And I used to work out all the time. I come from a fitness minded family. So I'm
yeah.
like, okay, I gotta just get back on it. So I pulled out the old Taboo tapes and all the DVDs.
Billy Blank. So
Yeah, I was doing it all.
I love it.
And I still was not like, okay, I still wasn't catching it. I was like, okay. And I understood I was older, so it's gonna take longer to shred and cut and everything. Um, But again, somebody said, I met her because I do Beachbody. I met this lady on Instagram. Her name was Amanda McCain, I think her name was. And she was do Beachbody. She signed me up. And I said, I want the abs. I want my abs. And not that I'm going to walk around wearing a belly shirt, but I want to wear a t-shirt without a jacket. You know what I mean? So she said, abs are made in the kitchen.
They are.
And I
Absolutely.
was like, huh.
Yep.
I said, okay. And again, I was justifying, I worked out, so I get a veggie burger. I'm working out. I get a pizza. I'm working out. I have a bag of chips or whatever. But it was the fact that you can't do all this grunting, sweating, lifting, pulling, and then go in the kitchen and just binge whatever you want. And it's not to say you can't have it. It's all about moderation and your calorie count.
And here's the thing though, with the moderation thing, we have to be really careful when we say that, because usually people that talk about eating in moderation, they already have bodies in crisis. So moderation is not necessarily going to work for everybody. Because the truth of the matter is that some people really do need to cut things out for a second and not have a cheat day for a while. Like when I first started keto, I had to go about 3 weeks before I had a reward day, because my body was so out of whack. I was having headaches and migraines like 2 or 3 times a month that would last for 3 or 4 days, and it would just be like kind of head buried under the cover type stuff. And it wasn't like premenstrual or nothing like that, but it was because of what I was eating on a regular basis. And I was like, there has to be something. And my doctors are telling me, they don't know what the cause is, but they're trying to prescribe medication. And I'm like, absolutely not. So that is when I got serious about my health and wellness, because you're not about to have me on no medicine that you say is life sustaining, but is really taking me out of here slowly. And that was one of the things that I was like, that's not happening. So I figured it out. Like the Lord showed me where I needed to cut things, where I needed to make changes. And then I did it. And it wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And what happens is, like, a lot of people are looking for pats on the back for stuff that they're supposed to be doing anyway. Like, you're supposed to be taking care of your temple. That's literally what you're one job. One job. You got one job. Like if the Lord rests in me and I am his representation here on this earth, it is my responsibility to make sure that I'm taking care of my temple. Like, period. You got one job. Like that, the Holy Spirit can't house itself in anything that's unclean, right? It's not just a spiritual thing when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's everything. Like, I can't go and try to minister to somebody down the street and I can barely walk 5 steps without breathing hard. Like, what's happening?
No, I completely get it. That's why it's like after my little birthday binge shenanigans, it's a wrap for me. Like I am redeemed on a health journey because how I felt Wednesday and Thursday, I'd say I don't want to feel like that again ever.
Yeah, I feel it. But I'm sorry, the Mel Robbins, she was one of the first people that I used to watch people all the time. I watched Miles Monroe. I used to watch Eric Thomas. Mel Robbins was one of the first people because she was a female, and I was trying to find people that was like me. But now I have, I mean, not to say that she wasn't good, but I wanted people that looked like me. So now I follow Dr. Anita Phillips. I follow uh what's his name? Vivian Green. Is that her name? I can't remember her name, but she is
Vivian Green is an R&B singer.
not Vivian Green. What's her name? I'm gonna get the book because I have her book too. It's called Permission to Live Free. It's another good one. But I wanted women that looked like me that was gonna be able to speak into me because I want to speak into little girls like me. I want to be able to
Beautiful.
speak into women like me.
Beautiful.
So I found people, but Mel Robbins was the first one that kind of snapped me out of it. Like when she talked about not hitting the alarm, or you like your alarm goes off, you got 5 seconds before your mind starts to turn and give you every reason why you should hit the snooze button. And when she goes into detail about what happens to your neurological system when you start to turn. So I started doing that. Like I started, making sure that if I got up before my alarm got off, I made sure that I didn't hit the snooze button. I got up anyway. Then I noted the time that I got up and how many minutes it was before my alarm went off. And before you knew it, I didn't need an alarm clock anymore. And it was one of those things where my body was just with it. But she went into detail and goes real deep about, that 5 second rule is really important when
I love it.
when you're intentional about certain things. And I'm like, okay. So, but the stuff that she was saying at first, it kind of smacked me in the face. And I have to say that I was kind of like offended, like, how dare she say that? But yeah, I needed to hear it. I'm one of
No,
those.
I love it. I love it. And I think that's something that we all need. I know for me, because I get up at 3 in the morning. That's my prayer time. They call it the fourth watch. If those who are not familiar with the 8 watches in prayer, I'm an intercessor. So my watch is at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. I usually pray for about an hour, hour and a half. But when I want to be lazy,
Yeah.
and lay in the bed, like, oh God, like I'm like, they're all right. The world is okay. I mean, like, no, I wrestle with asthma. I'll have an asthma attack, or my sinuses will flare up where I got to constantly blow my nose, and the Lord is like, keep playing with me.
Yeah.
You will never breathe again. And so I'm like, all right, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up. But that's such a good the 5 second rule, because sometimes we need to get up early enough, whether it's 3 a.m. wake up or the 6 a.m., whatever your set time is.
Yeah.
You need to get up and get your day started. And when my daughter was little, my guidance counselor, he had 3 children at the time. They were all under the age of 10. And he said he and his wife get up an hour before their kids. And I said, well, how do you manage that? Because I'm exhausted. I was in 2 schools. I was working part-time. It was just a mess. And he said, if you get up before your kids, you control the day.
Yep.
If you get up after your children, they control the day, because you're constantly picking up after them, chasing after them, getting them this. And so I put that in motion. I got up an hour before my kid did. She was about 3, 4 years old. I was able to get my prayer time in. I was able to get my study time in because I was in school. I was able to get breakfast ready. So when she woke up, I was able to instruct her and say, before we go to the toys and go to Elmo, we're going to eat breakfast and we're going to do this. And the day went by smoothly. And when I got lazy,
so much more. when you
Yeah, so if I had a lazy day, and I get up before me, I was constantly chasing the clock. And then
yeah.
of course there's that time frame where if you get up before the clock does, you're actually, even though there's 24 hours of the day, subconsciously you're 2 hours ahead
That's
because
why
you
I don't subscribe to the whole we need another day or there's not enough hours in a day. The Lord knew exactly what he was doing. Like and one of the things that even Eric Thomas used to talk about in his earlier videos or earlier YouTubes was like people love sleep more than they love like accountability, or they love sleep more than they love getting the results of what they're, you know, working toward. It is perfectly fine to have organized scheduled downtime. Like rest is also it's a part of self-care. It's something
right,
that's necessary. But it's like I am not gonna sleep my day away unless it's on purpose. Otherwise, like I got stuff to do. I have things to do. I don't, and it's more than just being busy. Like you can cross off a lot of things on a list, but still feel like you didn't get anything done. So it's like when you want the Lord to run your day and you want him to command your day, you get up in the morning, okay, Lord, what do you want from me?
right.
Okay, Lord, what do you need from me? Okay, Lord, who am I supposed to talk to? Who am I supposed, like people don't, I know growing up, even though I grew up in the church, that was never something that was actually like to ask questions like that. It was kind of like you don't question the Lord, and the Lord's like, no, you do question me. You ask
Bible
me.
says come boldly to the throne of grace. So if you
Yes,
have, you say you're not questioning him, you're comprehending the assignment.
exactly, exactly. But you know, we're taught not to ask questions, and you know, and I'm only speaking coming from a Black woman. You know, we're also taught, and we were talking about this before the live, we are taught to override what the Holy Spirit is telling us about people, about our relationships, about our environments, about our atmospheres. The Lord tells you when to move. He tells you when to leave certain people alone. He tells, like, and it don't have to be, you know, nothing all big and boastful about, well, I don't want to talk to her, like that kind of stuff. You can, there's a right way and a wrong way to leave. It's cool to say, listen, I love you, but I can't rock with you right now.
Yes.
You like we just can't, we don't vibe right now, and that's
It's not our
okay.
season. It's not the
That is so,
season.
that's right. And so listen, I'm praying for you. You let me know if you ever need anything. And I'm sure the feeling is mutual, but we just, it's okay for us not to be cool. Like we're not rocking right now. And it's the same thing with everything else as well. Like it's okay to have scheduled downtime. 5 o'clock, my phone's going off. Don't call me. Or if you call me, you inbox me. I'll get to you the next day, because guess what? My husband is here. Like we, you know, I got a whole home. I got, like, I'm brainstorming. I'm doing all kind of stuff, but you have to reset. It's okay to shut things down.
Yes.
Like it's okay. It's literally
Oh,
okay.
I do it. I say to people, I'm the most selfish person you ever meet because I set those boundaries.
Yes,
I'm adamant on self-care. Um
the boundaries
Saturday
are
is
necessary,
really,
and they don't. People don't try. They act like because you have boundaries, you too good for them and stuff like that. Like,
they can
listen.
think whatever they want.
Oh,
I just know for me Saturdays is really my only day for me. So
yeah.
I work accordingly, like videos, content, whatever. And
See,
if
I'm
I
getting into that now. Like before, like because I didn't never even think about having like no content day or nothing like that. It's like I'm actually learning this part.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the day
Yeah,
for you to learn it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
if I like if I'm choosing this day for me, this is, I call it E Day. If I'm choosing this day for me, whether I'm creating videos, spending time with my husband, crocheting just to clear my mind because I make blankets and hats and all that stuff.
Oh, so then you would be the one that I need a little I need a gear shift cover. I want a little tank top.
I got you.
Because I have the hoodie that goes on my gear, but I was like, dang, I gotta find a tank top because it's about to be summertime.
I got you. I'll figure it out. We'll talk. But yeah, I make
For sure.
people are coming to me for the blankets. My father conned me into a Steeler blanket. No, and his girlfriend made him
Oh
one.
Lord.
His girlfriend made him one. It's big and beautiful, better than what mine could ever be. But he talked me into one. I made one for my uncle, my friend's birthday. Her husband's birthday was in February. He needed a Steeler blanket. My aunt needed a team spirited blanket for her granddaughter's school. People want. I mean, it. But see, what I'm saying is, this is the day where I can work on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I don't want to go anywhere, do
Yeah.
anything, if I don't even want to draw my eyebrows on, this is my day.
I
Like
can't
I'm just being real.
press it.
And I don't want to do it. I mean, I understand things happen. You might have to run out emergency, you might have to go check on your family, whatever. But if I'm setting this time for
Yeah.
me, for my mental health,
Yes.
my personal time to, because like think about it. uh, Jesus in the morning was up before the disciples came and found him because he was
Yeah. I
checking
mean, he
on
would
them.
step away often. Like he would step away often
He's
to
like, I need 10,
be
15 minutes because y'all getting on my nerves already. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right.
So if he's even doing that, what makes it less important for you to do it? Because you have to, because you got to get ready for whatever the assignment, wherever it's church, work, kids, husbands, wives, family, pets, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Because
that's
everybody is trying to get a little inch of that, and that's where people say they need more time. No, you need to you know organize some structure because people, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even want to say that I'm necessarily setting boundaries. I'm setting standards that you will follow, or like if you don't follow, then you don't get like you just I I don't know what to tell you. Like this is just how it got to be because I'm only my best for them if I have my time to myself. And that's literally how I feel when it comes to me and the gym and how it feels with me and praying and writing and journaling and everything. Like I need that so that I can be who Ebony needs Dominga to be as a friend. Like if I'm sitting up here all stressed out, worried about stuff, like give me my hour and a half in the morning so that I can give God what I'm worried about, so I can give him my cares, and then I can leave him right there and then go on about my day.
yes, they don't get it.
I'm not going to be no good for you. I'm not going to be no good for you. When you called me about being a part of this network, I'm like, so of course I'm honored because it's like, dang, nobody's ever asked me to be a part of a network. But your husband was saying the same thing that I was telling my husband about you when I was like, well, she need her own network. And before I knew it, you were saying, you know what? My husband was like, I can just do my own. And I'm like, that's what's up. When you asked me to be a part of it, I'm like, wow, Lord, like, thank you for the opportunity because this never would have happened had I not been in the right place with him. Because he tell me when to sever it, honey. He tell me when to sever it. And one of the things that I learned, and I'm still learning, obviously, honestly, because I'm real empathetic with people. So I kind of like try to stay connected. And the Lord is like, you don't need to be, because people were putting our relationship in place of where they needed to put God. And he's like, you can't be that for people. You like, listen, Sarah Jakes Roberts used to say all the time, I'm going with you. And by pray with you about a situation, I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to leave it right there and I'm going to go on about my business. I'm not going to take it with
It's
me.
not your assignment. It's not. I'm telling you, it's not your assignment. And
So
yeah,
I'm appreciative of this opportunity. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want to fumble it. I want to take it serious. And I need you to tell me what to do. I've never been in a situation like this before. I've only done what I know how to do. Like, that's it. Like, even when I first gained like all my followers from the first time, like before social media became the way of making money, you know what I'm saying? Before that, like I was just doing what I did. Like I'm doing my recording my videos on my little iPhone. Like it was like a iPhone 8 or something
oh
like that.
wow. See, I'm still in the Android seat. I ain't ready for the iPhone yet.
I said, listen, I didn't know what I was doing, honestly. And I'm just kind of like, well, this is kind of what I do in the day. Then people start, inquiring about
Yeah.
what does that do? So I encourage everybody to get the book, The Garden Within. It puts you in connection with the emotions that you're feeling that people are telling you don't matter. They do matter. I'm telling you, just like you matter, what you're going through matters. Like, but the thing is, what you do with it is what happens. Like you can't try to be everything to everybody and you all bogged down and stressed out.
So I want to challenge anyone that's watching, because I'm a reader. You see my nonsense in the background.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it's a mess. My whole office, I turned my brother's, this was my brother's old, I turned into an office. It's like, you got to come in at your own risk because
I'm cracking
I
up.
got stuff everywhere because I love books. I love journals. I love reading. I love paper. Why don't we read? I'm gonna get the book this weekend. Why don't we read the book and touch base on it next month?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
Yes, let's
If
do that.
anybody want to get in, that would be,
The
it would
Garden
be
Within. So I'm gonna
that, this one right here.
take a picture of it, share it with me on social media,
I
and
will.
include whomever. I'm gonna even get my friends and my church family to read it because that's it's it, I think of the Garden of Eden because you had all these natural fruits and vegetables. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think of the Garden of Gethsemane where you went to pray and when you
yeah,
went to like Jesus really had to tap in, like, listen, I'm going through some stuff.
yeah.
And then and then Greg and I have a garden. We're about to start turning over the
Oh
soil.
my gosh, I want one this summer too. I'm actually starting with the herb garden, and then we're gonna do
We
we're
have
gonna
both. So
the
we'll talk. We have
I
both.
I have to talk because I don't know nothing about that. I like my grandma used to have a garden, and I used to love the fact that we would eat stuff out of her garden. But I don't know.
We have the herb section and we have the veggie section in our.
Yeah, I definitely want a herb garden because I really cook with the herbs. But
We have the oregano, thyme, basil,
yes,
rosemary. What
mint.
else? Mint. We have two types of mints,
So
and
we gonna
then
talk because I
yeah,
definitely want to get one. I want to get.
I see my lavender coming because I'm a lavender. I love lavender because it's so calming. But yeah, so the garden is just where you just find solace, and then even in this the song in the garden, where he walks with me, he talks with me, he tells me I'm his own. So
Yeah,
it's in that garden atmosphere where you can just have that quiet time. And
yeah,
we ourselves, especially as women, we have to understand we are a garden because we're bearing fruit such as children
yeah,
and we're bringing forth life, which is our words. We have to speak. Bible says, "Speak those things that are not as though they were." And life
yes,
and death are the power of the tongue. So the garden is multiplying. You know what I mean? So I'm going to challenge everyone to get the book. I'm going to put it on social media. I'm going to order this weekend. In fact, I'm going to see if my husband got a little bit of change in his wallet left over.
I'm cracking up. Yeah, let me know when you get it. I would
He's
love
sticking me because I've been in his pocket all weekend. So
to.
he's so over me. He told me I ain't got it. Me something something new come from Amazon. Like, yeah, you had it, baby. But
That's
no,
hilarious.
yeah, we're gonna challenge for the garden within and really discuss that for your wellness. Because again, it's more than just exercising, lifting weight, and pumping iron. It's your internal, your emotional, your mental health. All right, family, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Ming, your wholeness coach. All
yeah.
right, check us out on YouTube.
All right.
This
Deuces.
video is sponsored by Writers Block Publishing LLC, E. Davis LLC, and Starks Contracting. All right, you guys have a great day.
Deuces.